So let me just point out so far, what we're looking at is, there's a map here. You can take a snapshot of the screen or whatever. You will get up on your screen if you're gonna, first of all, for your weather, you're looking at a National Weather Service or whatever warnings you've gotten. I would use that as a background, and I highly recommend using the two sources that I do to find weather, because you can get accurate right down to your exact location. One is going to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association.org, so NOAA.org, and getting a localized prediction, and that'll give you sort of your general area, and what you're looking at there is the sort of the front page after you say what you're looking for, a week in review. Tap on the day and look at what the warnings are, if there are warnings, or pick a day in the next week and track it over time. If you've heard on the radio or whatnot there are severe thunderstorm warnings, or if you got an alert, start with that point. Whatever alert systems that you have for weather, and or if you've already begun to track a storm, or if you're already an advanced tracker and you don't know what you're doing, any of this is good information to have. The second thing is, or the third thing I check after getting the two warnings, is Weather Underground, or wonderground.org. It's very local. It pertains to right where you are, your town even. So scroll down, don't pay attention to anything else except warnings. Sure, it'll give you the same thing that NOAA gave you, but it'll be more localized. So it'll have either a warning or it will be upgraded to a watch. The difference between a warning and a watch is, a warning is your general area and it may or may not happen in your area. A watch is, it's coming through. Watch for it. So that's the second piece to get. And you'll get alerts up on either of those if you set up that service for yourself. And it's all free and easy to obtain. There may be something else that you like even more, and maybe you could comment in the down below. And I just rely on three sources. They work for me. They're already there, and I don't need to do anything else. Next, I'm going to look at NOAA in more detail. So looking at the week in review, I look at fair, 85 degrees. The next day, which I've already seen, Tuesday or whatever, it says thunderstorms and 89 degrees. So the temperature has gone up significantly, and it says thunderstorms. And when I click on that, it'll say anywhere from 10% or up to 100%. And usually it says 50% if it's a warning, and a 90% or better if it's a watch. And you're looking at fair, and then rainy, or you're looking for thunderstorms really, or severe weather alerts, whatever it is. So then I go to Weather Underground, tap on that, scroll down, ignore what the other stuff. You already know that there's a warning out there, and what day it is, and look at your map. Click on the map. You're in that map somewhere. It's a blow up. Back it off if you don't see any weather. Wait a few minutes for it to load, because it is someone locally is posting that somebody who's a weather nut has got a channel or whatnot, and they're posting locally, and that's how that works. People in local situations are all connecting with each other and connecting with Weather Service, and that's why it's called Weather Underground. It's an underground system. It's not national. It's org. Again, I think you have to join and maybe even pay in a membership or whatnot for a lifetime or a year or whatnot, and that's much more reliable because it's local to you. If you're remote, then I would rely on other sources. But still, Weather Underground will give you detailed maps. So what you're looking at is is there a severe thunderstorm warning or whatnot that you've seen for Tuesday, which is today? Yes, in fact, there's a band of stuff in your bigger map. So click on it, click on it, click on it till it gets down to you can see arrows pointing in the direction. Now, it would be a lot smaller, but in general, your location is here. And I haven't colored in the bigger map down below, but I'm going to do that while I'm talking. So you are over here. This is north, this is east, south, west, and this is how the maps are generally oriented, unless you flip the screen around or whatever. And but either way, storms generally track west to east in the United States, or south to north, or major fronts come down from the north in different places. It depends on where you are in general. Look at a bigger map for determining the jet streams, and that's the general trend of where things are. And maybe you're in a pocket and you get severe weather and whatnot. So this is what you're looking at. You have these 2 or 3 things, and you want to, when you see this kind of darker color, orange or red, or in the center with lightning, the other ones are green. So this is blue. These are hail. There's a chance of hail. So you want to, if you're here and that's there, and you don't have anything else, you just have colors out here. So green is generally moisture content. The darker it is, the more chance there is of rain. Or so this would just be mist or cloud cover, or out here is cloud cover. Your front is already well over this area. Your cloud cover is really high. This is low cloud cover. It's more dense, and the thicker the color is in green, the more dense that is, and that's a band of rain. That's a band of rain. This is a band of rain. And as you go in, it's more severe. This is a band of mostly rain and heavy rain here with the warning around it, heavy rain. This is heavy rain with lightning and lightning strikes. So this is the one that you're concerned with. 1, there's a front. 2 is that there is a general storm heading in your direction. And when you click on that, you start to see triangles. When you start to see triangles, what you're looking at is the whole front of it, and it'll have many arrows, general arrows, and look at the fine print in gray. That'll tell you a little bit more about the specifics. But what you're looking at this point is these triangles. And while it's interesting to go to the one with the most severe stuff, look at the one that's closest to you. I was just pointing out, you are here, the blue dot, and you'll always be a small blue dot, which indicates where your device is, where you are, where you're checking your weather from. That's you. And that's always you. And regardless of the weather and so on the other side of what color they are, this is always you. You're here, and the weather follows a certain pattern again. North, east, south, west. That's the general orientation of the Weather Underground maps. This whole front is in your area. It's been raining for a while, sprinkling light, and every now and then you hear thunder, but you're not sure how far away it is. Maybe you're even hearing it like it's severe. One of these went through, and you know there's still something more severe, and you're just catching it like it's still a ways off. What you want to do is click on your location and get the GPS, that is the latitude and longitude. Write that down. Take note of that. That's important because each one of these storms has a track as well. These are storm tracks. I call them storm tracks in quotes because they are signatures. Each one of them has a distinct signature, which the National Weather Service and the Weather Underground has tracked, and your local people have tracked as to their exact location, their exact movement, how fast they're moving, where they're going, and the scope of where they might go to. Each triangle starts with a point. That's where the weather is, and back there is where it's been. So this one, which is most close to you, has hail. The chance of getting hit by hail, click on it and look at the scope of where it is, where you are, and how far that is. Again, it shows the GPS, it shows all the information you need, which will be on the next couple pages. I haven't gotten there yet, clearly. and it'll show you, when you click on that, it'll bring up another page of data, which is not a map at all, but it gives you all of the data about that storm, where it is, where it's located with latitude and longitude. You've taken a note of the town, and sometimes it will say what town, but rarely. But it'll give you the GPS location, which is much more important, the latitude and longitude. Write that down and set that aside for a moment. That's one that's probably going to head in your direction, because you are in the cone there, a cone or a triangle. You're in that cone of range, and you can look at all the details of what these are. I believe each segment indicates a 15-minute period. So this one, you're going to hear lightning and thunder in that one. That doesn't have it necessarily, but one of these over here did. The one farther over, say, that one had lightning and you heard it. And you want to know how far away that is. You want to know how far away those things are. So give yourself a circle of each increment on the triangle is 15 minutes. So you have roughly 10, 15, 30, 40 minutes before this one potentially hits. Maybe you're hearing rain and you can hear something else, but you're not sure what it is. This one has ice in it. The chance of it getting to you is pretty good, but not definite. With the general trend going this direction, which is east-northeast, if you look at where north is and east is, all of that data comes up when you click on each one, and I'll go through it. The next one you want to do is more severe. It's aimed in your direction, and while there are a few arrows going in your direction of other ones, the general trend is east-northeast, but this one is heading straight towards you. And if you look at the bigger scope of that, it covers your area. So if you look at these two back here, you got 15, 30, that's about there, 45, an hour, and 15, 30, 45. You have an hour and 45 minutes before that is here, roughly. And another way to tell that just by this is click on that and you can get exact. So you have roughly the time it could get there, or there's a chance that it won't. So click on that one, get the data off of that one, and then come back to the more severe one. This one has a little red swirly in it, and it has a red spot, and it's a little more severe. So this whole storm front is a significant one, but say you get something more severe. What you're looking at here is a tornado, and that has a name, likely, or it has a designation that's been identified by the National Weather Service as part of a larger storm. Once they are like that, they have a name to them, and they can be tracked, and your weather service may know about them, or because it may be so local, they don't have it in their scope yet, and they think it's tracking somewhere else, or they just haven't gotten the alert yet. Sometimes local warnings from radio services and whatnot come too late, which is why it's good for you to be aware of the services that are available. Click on this one and you get the same data. And on the next page, I'll show you what that data is. And you'll see that this one is heading that direction, and the scope of that one is in your direction, and it already has a storm track, and it'll show you when you click on that, it'll give you the data. Write all of the data down, but write down the GPS information of each separately, which ones are on top of you, which ones are on top of you, being that you're in the cone, which ones have cones that are directly in line in where they're headed, and which ones have cones that are mostly in line with where you're headed. And click on each of them and write the data down next to your data. So write your data down in 3 places and write a dash down. You'll figure out how to do it. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next piece.